For thousands of years, one sacred object has captured the imagination of believers, scholars, and treasure hunters alike. An object said to hold the very presence of God, capable, according to some legends, of bringing victory, judgment, and even death. This is the story of the Ark of the Covenant. What was it? How was it used? And where is it now? To understand the Ark of the Covenant, we have to go back over 3,000 years to the story of the Israelites in the Hebrew Bible. According to the book of Exodus, after the Israelites escaped slavery in Egypt, they camped at the foot of Mount Sinai. There, Moses received not only the 10 Commandments, but also detailed instructions for building a sacred object, the Ark. The Ark of the Covenant was essentially a rectangular chest made of acacia wood, about 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. Depending on how you convert biblical measurements, that's roughly 1.1 to 1.3 meters long by 0.8 meters wide and high, or about 3.5 by 2.5 by 2.5 feet. It was overlaid with pure gold, inside and out, and surrounded by a decorative gold moulding. 4 gold rings were attached to its feet or sides. Long poles, also made of acacia wood and covered in gold, were slid through these rings. According to the text, the poles were never to be removed. They were the only way the ark could be carried, by the priests on their shoulders. No one was allowed to touch the ark itself. The lid of the ark was called the mercy seat, or atonement cover. It was a solid slab of gold with 2 golden cherubim, angelic figures, facing each other, their wings outstretched and overshadowing the cover. This was not just decoration. The space between the cherubim was believed to be where God's presence appeared, a meeting point between heaven and earth. The contents of the ark are described in several biblical passages. The most important items: the 2 stone tablets of the 10 Commandments, a jar of manna, and Aaron's rod that budded. First, the stone tablets. These represented the covenant, the binding agreement, between God and the people of Israel. In many ways, the ark was like a divine contract box, holding the terms of the relationship. Second, a golden jar of manna, the mysterious bread the Israelites ate in the wilderness. This served as a permanent reminder of divine provision, that God had fed them when they had nothing. Third, Aaron's rod, a staff that miraculously budded and produced almonds in a story of priestly authority. Keeping it in the ark symbolized the legitimacy of the priesthood and God's power to bring life from what is dead. Together, these 3 items turned the ark into more than a gold box. It was a compact symbol of law, provision, leadership, and the ongoing presence of God among his people. The ark did not exist on its own. It was placed at the very center of Israel's worship life, inside a special tent known as the tabernacle. The tabernacle had distinct areas: an outer courtyard, a holy place, and behind a thick curtain, the Holy of Holies. Only the high priest was allowed to enter this innermost room, and even then only once a year on the Day of Atonement. He would sprinkle the blood of a sacrifice on the mercy seat, seeking forgiveness for the sins of the people. In this ritual, the ark functioned as a kind of cosmic throne, the cherubim as guardians, the mercy seat as God's throne, and the blood on the cover symbolizing reconciliation between God and humanity. The narrative describes God's presence as appearing in a cloud above the ark, guiding the Israelites by day and a pillar of fire by night. When the cloud lifted, they packed up the tabernacle, carefully carried the ark on their shoulders, and followed wherever it led. The ark was, quite literally, at the heart of their identity as a people, a mobile sign that they were not wandering alone. The ark isn't only associated with worship, it also appears in stories of warfare and national crisis. When the Israelites arrived at the Jordan River, ready to enter the Promised Land, the river was overflowing its banks. The priests carried the ark into the water, and the text says, the river stopped flowing, allowing the people to cross on dry ground. The message was clear. It wasn't military might that would secure their future, but the presence of God going before them. Soon after, the ark appears again in the famous story of Jericho. For 6 days, the Israelites marched around the city once a day. On the 7th day, they circled it 7 times, with priests blowing trumpets and the ark in their midst. At the final blast, the people shouted, and the walls of Jericho collapsed. Whether you see this as literal history, symbolic narrative, or something in between, the theological point is the same. The ark represented God's power to bring victory where human strategy seemed impossible. But the ark could not be treated like a magic weapon. In the time of the prophet Samuel, the Israelites went to war with the Philistines and suffered a defeat. In desperation, they brought the ark from its sanctuary onto the battlefield, as if it were a guaranteed ticket to victory. They lost again, and this time the ark itself was captured. The Philistines placed the ark in the temple of their god Dagon. The next morning they found Dagon's statue face down before the ark. After returning it to its place, they woke the following day to find the statue fallen again, this time with its head and hands broken off. At the same time, a series of plagues and misfortunes struck the Philistine cities that hosted the ark. Terrified, they eventually sent it back to Israel on a cart pulled by cows, along with gifts of gold. The lesson is almost ironic. Even in Israel's defeat, the ark still testified to a power beyond human control, one that couldn't be owned, domesticated, or used as a lucky charm. After a complicated journey, the ark was eventually brought to Jerusalem by King David. The Bible describes a massive celebration, music, dancing, and sacrifices, as the ark entered the city. Jerusalem became the religious and political center of Israel, and the ark its spiritual focal point. David's son, Solomon, built a permanent temple in Jerusalem. When it was completed, the ark was carried into the innermost chamber, the new Holy of Holies. From this point on, the ark is rarely mentioned. It sits, hidden from public view, as the most sacred object in Israel's holiest place. And then, suddenly, the ark disappears from the biblical story. In 586 BCE, Babylonian forces under King Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem and burned the temple. Many sacred treasures are listed as taken into exile, but the Ark of the Covenant is not clearly mentioned. From here, history turns into mystery. Over the centuries, many theories have emerged about what happened to the Ark. Some traditions say it was hidden by priests before the Babylonians arrived, maybe in a secret chamber under the Temple Mount, where some believe it could still be today. An ancient Ethiopian tradition, preserved in the Kebra Nagast, claims the Ark was brought to Ethiopia during the time of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, and that a replica remains on the Temple Mount, while the true Ark is kept in the city of Axum. Other theories suggest it was destroyed during the Babylonian conquest, lost in Egypt, or taken apart for its gold. To this day, no credible, verifiable archaeological discovery has confirmed any of these theories. The Ark remains one of history's most enduring religious mysteries. But the importance of the Ark of the Covenant goes beyond the question of where it might be. For Judaism, the Ark is a powerful symbol of God's covenant with Israel, of God choosing to dwell among a particular people and guide them through history. In Christianity, the Ark is often seen symbolically as a foreshadowing of God's presence, of mercy and atonement, and even of the idea that God's presence can dwell not just in a box, but in people themselves. And for many outside those faiths, the Ark stands as a reminder of how deeply humans long for contact with the divine, how we build objects, rituals, and stories to express a reality that seems to transcend us. Whether the Ark of the Covenant still exists somewhere on earth, or whether it was lost long ago, its story continues to shape religion, art, and imagination. Perhaps that's the real power of the Ark, not just as an artifact lost to time, but as a symbol that still raises the same questions today. Where do we find the sacred? What does it mean to be in the presence of God? And what ultimately is the true treasure we're searching for? If you enjoyed this exploration of the Ark of the Covenant, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And tell us in the comments, which theory about the Ark do you find most convincing? Thanks for watching.